Michel Barnier, the EU's chief Brexit negotiator, offered European capitals a downbeat assessment of the progress in the talks. The Frenchman told EU ambassadors he believes British negotiators are deliberately stalling negotiations and preparing to roll back on commitments agreed to as part of the withdrawal agreement. He also voiced concern Britain doesn't have sufficient bandwidth to cope with its coronavirus crisis and strike a trade deal with Brussels before the transition period expires at the end of the year. Mr. Barnier's conveyed his gloomy outlook as part of a meeting of senior diplomats in the Belgian capital. An EU diplomat said, "There was shared concern that Britain continues to stall negotiations and wants to walk back on commitments arising from the withdrawal agreement and political declaration. We also question whether the UK has enough bandwidth to deal adequately with Brexit-related issues right now." The two sides are due to reconvene for their second round of virtual trade talks next week. They were forced to shelve plans for face-to-face talks in March after the outbreak of the global pandemic. In Brussels, there is a growing concern the government will not uphold its end of the Northern Ireland border agreement. Boris Johnson is expected to implement border checks on goods traveling between Great Britain and the province. EU officials have urged their counterparts to publish an exact timetable for the government's plans to make its obligations operational. Michael Gove dismissed the concerns, insisting the government will ensure customs checks are ready before the end of the year. The Cabinet Office Minister told a House of Lords committee, "The proof of the pudding is in the talking between the UK and the EU about how we make sure that the protocol can be implemented." The Prime Minister's point is a powerful one. Ultimately, the protocol isn't designed to undermine the sovereignty of the UK over Northern Ireland. We remain one United Kingdom and the administration of the protocol will be a matter for the UK. In a leaked memo, EU officials last week described the issue as the biggest challenge in future relations between Britain and Brussels. The bloc issued a 5-step list of demands that it expects from the government this summer. Mr. Johnson must provide detailed plans on checks on goods and animals, a new joint VAT system based on EU rules, fisheries and new registrations and certification schemes for businesses. The note, seen by Express.co.uk, said, "In these areas, implementation must be well underway by July 1, 2020, in order to be ready for January 1, 2021.